Imagine waking up tomorrow to find out you've just won $1 billion. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, for the first time in Powerball's 30-year history, that fantasy just became reality for someone. 1 billion. Not million, billion. And here's the crazy part in today's world. Millionaires aren't the ones making headlines anymore. It's billionaires. The rules of wealth have shifted, and if you're playing by the old rules, you're already behind. Today, I'm going to share a story that proves building a massive fortune isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's possible for you, even if you're starting with almost nothing. And I mean literally nothing, like $820 in your bank account. This isn't a fairy tale, it's the real-life journey of Dan Peña, a man who transformed his tiny savings into a $50 million empire in just 3 years. And the mindset shifts he used could change your financial future forever, if you're ready to hear them. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover in this video is the kind of advice that most gurus will never tell you. By the end, you'll see exactly how to flip the script on your finances and start stacking wealth faster than you thought possible. So let's dive in. Dan Peña wasn't born with a silver spoon. In fact, he grew up as an average American kid. He even served in the Vietnam War, where he learned discipline, resilience, and how to perform under extreme pressure. When he came back home, Dan had one big dream: start his own business. Problem was, his wallet held just $820. Most people in his position would have given up, waited for the right time, or blamed the economy. Dan didn't. Instead, he took the skills and network he built in the military and put them to work. He hustled, he negotiated, he played the long game. Within 3 years, his tiny $820 stake had exploded into $50 million. 1 year later, he doubled that number. When people ask him how he did it, Dan laughs and says, "The first million was the hardest. After that, the money just started raining down on me." But here's where Dan's story takes a turn most millionaires never bother with. Instead of just enjoying the high life, he decided to teach others how to do the same. Not with gimmicks, fake get-rich-quick schemes, or recycled advice, but with a raw, no BS method he called the Quantum Leap Advantage. His first book, Your First 100 Million, became a phenomenon among entrepreneurs, and those who attended his private workshops, many went on to earn their first millions in record time. So, what's his secret? According to Dan, it starts with one radical shift in thinking, and once you make it, you'll never look at your own value the same way again. Dan's first rule for building real wealth: treat yourself like a corporation. Most people never put a price tag on themselves. They think in terms of salary or hourly wage, but they never stop to ask, what am I actually worth? That's why when someone tells you to make more money, your gut reaction is dread. You picture longer hours, side hustles, and less free time. But Dan flips that mindset completely. He says the real question is, how much are your skills worth, and how do you raise that number every year? Look at top athletes or entertainers. They're not rich by accident. They've mastered a skill so valuable that the world has to pay them top dollar. And here's the truth. You don't have to be on a football field or a movie set to do the same. Find what you can be the best at, then obsess over it. Dan's advice is to make a list of the top 10 people in the world at that skill, study exactly what they do, and benchmark your progress against them. If you're a writer, check the New York Times bestseller list. Read the books from the authors you admire most. Reverse engineer their success. Then invest your time, energy, and even your money into mastering your craft, because self-development, according to Dan, is the highest return investment on earth. And here's the kicker: just when most people expect Dan to start talking about saving every penny and living frugally, he throws a curveball. Dan believes there's a dangerous trap on both ends of the spectrum. Some people waste money like there's no tomorrow. Others are so cheap that they deny themselves and their families even the smallest joys. Both are losing. The real key? Know your numbers. Not in a vague, I should save more kind of way, but down to the exact dollar. How much do you have today? How much will you have by month's end? This isn't about pinching pennies. It's about controlling the flow of your money like a CEO controls company cash flow. Because here's Dan's blunt truth. If you can't manage the money you have now, no amount of extra income will save you. Dan Peña knows something most people refuse to admit. Money isn't the root problem. If you can't manage $1,000, you'll just mismanage $1 million. That's why he teaches that financial discipline is non-negotiable. It's not glamorous, but it's what separates the wealthy from the broke but working hard crowd. And here's where Dan gets personal. He's seen countless people sabotage their own path to wealth because they're chasing someone else's method. Some swear by credit card rewards, others swear them off entirely. Some love the snowball method to kill debt, others prefer the avalanche. Dan's take? There is no one-size-fits-all. The trick is knowing your strengths, spotting your weaknesses, and building systems that cover those weaknesses year after year. But here's a big twist. When Dan talks about investing, he doesn't immediately point to Wall Street. In fact, he warns against it for the average person. His favorite playground? Small businesses and startups. Why? Because they're close to home, they're easy to understand, and they often need the exact kind of hands-on guidance you can provide. You're not just investing in a company, you're building relationships, influence, and a local empire that can grow faster than you ever imagined. And yet, even with all this talk of money, Dan reminds us of one harsh reality. Money is just money. It can come and go, but your time, you'll never get that back. It's easy to grind 12 hours a day thinking you're winning, only to look up and realize you've neglected your health, your relationships, and yourself. Dan's advice here isn't soft, it's strategic. Keep money in perspective. Wealth should give you the freedom to focus on what truly matters, not chain you to a desk chasing more zeros. Finally, and this might sting, Dan says, the fastest way to change your financial future is to stop lying to yourself. If you're losing, admit it. That jolt of reality will force you to act, to learn, and to climb. Because in Dan's world, there's no middle ground. You either come out rich or you come out broke. So here's the truth. Building wealth isn't magic. It's not luck, and it's definitely not reserved for the chosen few. Dan Peña started with $820 and turned it into tens of millions because he treated himself like a business, mastered his craft, invested smart, and never lost sight of what mattered most. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this. Your first million is the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you break that barrier, momentum takes over. Now it's your turn. Start tracking your numbers. Grow your skills until they're impossible to ignore. And stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. If you got value from this, hit that like button. Subscribe for more no BS wealth building strategies and share this with someone who's ready to level up their life. This is Rich's Code, where future millionaires are made. See you in the next video.